joined us. You're still on to Enterprise Weekend, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's get talking on our main conversation for today. The Nigeria National Coalition Group, NNCG, a political bloc opposed to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has formally applied to the Independent National Electoral Commission, Inec, for the registration of a new political party, the All Democratic Alliance, ADA. In a letter dated June 19 and received by the Inec on June 20, the group requested the party's official recognition, stating that the ADA's slogan would be Justice for All, signed by Chief Akin A. Rickett, the group's pro tem national chairman. The letter included the party's constitution, manifesto, logo, and other required documents. According to the letter, the decision was made after the coalition resolved to establish a fresh platform to avoid the internal crisis affecting existing parties. The prominent members of the coalition include former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, ex-Governor Rotimi Amaechi, Nasir El-Rufai, Dr. Umar Ado, convener of the League of Northern Democrats, although they had initially considered merging with existing parties like the ADC and SDP. Internal party conflicts have prompted the decision to start afresh. A committee led by Amaechi recommended forming the new party, paving the way for ADA's registration. I still have with me Tochukwu Ezukama. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Hanging around. Now let's get talking on this particular matter. I do not know how feasible it would really be. But of course, say politics, 24 hours is a very long time. Anything can happen. Given the crisis, even if it's not seen in the APC, do you think this might go a long way to properly take away APC?
Well, let's believe that the alliance will be successful and the alliance will be registered.
Yes.
Taking away APC.
Yes.
Removing APC from power.
Yes, exactly.
Is that the ultimate goal in Nigeria?
Well, that is what the coalition is out for, because the presence of Tinubu is really not doing any good to the country and equally to the APC itself.
Hey, but removing the APC, what tells you the situation will get better? So is it the concern? Is it the goal of this a coalition of political elites, most of whom are guilty of corruption, most of whom are guilty of stealing public funds, most of whom are guilty of abusing their offices and riding roughshod over the masses? Because that coalition means nothing to me. There's been coalition after coalition, but the situation remains the same, or for the most part keeps degenerating, keep getting worse. Atiku Abubakar, how can I take a man like that seriously? Is a man that said, we keep stealing because you do not stone us. So the politicians steal money because you
So he's justifying it.
You do not punish us. But that statement in itself is weighty. So I know what I am doing is wrong, and I keep doing it because nothing will happen to me. So you're telling us you're a sociopath. You're a man that lacks any sense of responsibility to the society. Because if you're in authority and you have any sense of responsibility to the people you are leading or people you are serving, you just cannot keep stealing their money because there's nothing they can do to you. So he's a man that is saying, I'm a criminal and I'll remain a criminal. I will stop being a criminal unless if I'm punished severely. Okay? And then he represents this group. So why would I have faith in this group? So if their concern is only to remove Tinubu, it makes no difference to me. Because the Tinubu group is composed of a band of crooks, a band of liars, a band of those who steal because you don't stone them. And this group is also consisting of a band of a similar group. So what difference does it make to anybody?
It's actually very unfortunate that Nigerians are left with no choice. It's like the devil and the deep blue sea.
Yeah, even the choices in Nigeria, like I keep saying, many things that happen in Nigeria happen in other countries of the world, but the incidence is less in other countries of the world. And in other countries of the world, these things we consider normal are outrageous, okay? If you go around the US trying to bribe a policeman, you might see one policeman, maybe one in 100, one in 50 to bribe. In Nigeria, it's 99 out of 100. And then in the US, a policeman that accepted bribe, people will be so disturbed by it. The man will be ostracized. The man will be severely punished. People will be outraged by it. But in Nigeria, now police now, you don't know what they do. Give them money now, make we go. So that's the difference. So it's the same group of people that keep leading us. And the normal individuals, those individuals that are financially honest, are seen as the eccentric few. Okay? Eccentric few. I worked with a certain man, my boss then. After school start, I worked for 6 months before getting into school.
Yes.
His name is Wanze.
Okay.
Very honorable man. We worked for the local government where people paid their rate.
Okay.
We determined, the office determined what would be paid by every property owner and collected the rent.
Okay.
His colleagues made a lot of money, but this man was upright. And you come with any deal, anything outside that main job that will bring and say, I don't want, don't tell me, I don't know. The man finally died of diabetes, broke, poor.
Wow.
His mate, I know one of his mates, he had 2 houses in Enugu and 1 in his village. So the eccentric man, the man that kept his hand straight, lived in face me, I face you. Some said he only lived in 1 room with his entire family, died of diabetes. You see the way the system is programmed. So there are people out there who can get the job done, but it's just that we are not comfortable with them. Atiku once took Peter Obi to be his vice president.
Yes.
The Igbo elite kicked against it. Ego.
Who exactly now? Who Peter Obi is stingy or Atiku Abubakar? Which of them are they stating?
Peter Obi will work with Atiku now.
Okay.
And will influence Atiku.
Oh, okay.
And when you come to him now, he doesn't bring anything. Okay. Odi is stingy. On a make a 1 year. 1 year konji wala. He may but Osubalu go Ibo. When you come in, he starts speaking English for you. He will not give you money. So the Igbo elite themselves want somebody there who will be bringing out money. The masses want you to spray money. So those that can do the job are there, but they are not mainstream and sometimes do not have a general support, approval. And again, by the time you allow them to get there, they must have been compromised. Different interest groups must have compromised them. We're supporting you, but you have to play your ball this way. This one we're supposed. So by the time you get there, you almost your hands are almost tied. There's not much you can do. So this alliance is fine. There's the need to remove Tinubu, but removing Tinubu's government will not serve the purpose unless this new group has something for the masses. And our leaders will start having something for us when we start asking serious questions.
No, but Nigerians are asking. I do not know how else.
I
do not know how else that we need to redefine the asking, but because we're doing a lot of that.
We are very passive. I was at the Access Bank the other day, and they were just lousing around. The bank employees, only 2 of them were dispensing money. The rest were inside having fun, and the line was building up. Nobody in the line said a word until I started insulting those kids. You people that just did your youth call yesterday and come here and think you're big madams, better do your work or you have problem with me. That's when some at the back started coming up, you see. So I said, I told the people that's the problem with Nigeria. Fella said he's suffering and smiling. You're here wasting your time suffering, but can't say a word. And you're dealing with small boys that you're old enough to be their parents. How can a girl that did youth call 2, 3, 4 years ago and come here and do madam for me? I've had my degree even before you were born. So better sit up and behave yourself. But the average Nigerian is not like that. I was at a filling station, and the manager of the filling station, normally you park your car, you stay in your car and inch your way to the fuel pump.
Yeah.
If you trust the system.
Okay.
But because you don't trust the system, you believe that they might be smuggling people in from the side. You park your car, step out of your car, and walk to the car pump. Okay? Yeah. Lack of trust in the system. And the manager was exasperated by that, people clogging everywhere. He took the maize from a policeman and started spraying people. People were running. But as he closed in on me, I asked him, Mr. Man, are you a policeman? I'm not a lawyer, but I know some basic law. Policeman can use maize on you under certain circumstances. He has the authority, but the situation must warrant it. But you, filling station manager, who are you to use the phase spray, what is it called? Maize.
Yes.
You cannot try it. When I said, are you a policeman? He backed off and gave the maize back to the policeman. But the other rest of people who were running, what was their problem? Docility, passivity. That's our problem. The masses don't talk. The masses, in other countries of the world, the masses talk. So until we start asking questions, holding people accountable, nothing will happen. So let them remove Tinubu or not remove him. The composition of the group, apart from P2B, they're a band of crooks, they're a band of liars, they're a band of thieves, they're a band of greedy men that will twist the system upside down just to satisfy their own personal interests. So it makes no difference to me.
Unfortunately, with the report, we didn't hear of P2B being part of the coalition.
It is. The 10 names I saw.
He's there.
Included P2B.
Okay, beautiful. Now that he is there, we do not know the stake he might be. But of course, there's this great love for P2B. It's a genetic one. He doesn't, just like you did say, he doesn't give out anything just to attract the love that he has. He gets it. It's organic in nature. But I would love us to, if possible, just profile his leadership skill. He's been known to be very finicky in his approach to lots of things. So do you really think P2B would make an outstanding Nigerian leader that would change all of these issues that we have today in Nigeria? Really?
P2B has the capability to change things in Nigeria. But the powers that be, the evil oligarchy that has a stranglehold on this country, that has reduced the masses, held the masses to their knees in this country, will not let him get there until he has agreed to play ball their own way. So getting in there, his room for maneuverability must have been reduced, severely reduced, so he can make a difference, but not something dramatic, not something to rattle the status quo, not something to jolt up the powers that be. It will be semi-business. He will bring his own mettle. He will bring his own conviction, what he stands for. But they will be very much diluted by the interest of the powers that be. And if you don't play ball with the powers that be, you will not get there.
And remember, it was the same style that got him impeached as a governor.
In Anambra,
because he was. Now the question is, as much as prudence is so important, but I would love us to domesticate the situation and the condition of Nigeria. It's good for one to be prudent, but sometimes don't you think it's wisdom to not necessarily play ball, but work in tandem with what people desire so you can have your way, and if possible, start with correction of the value system? Do you think it's possible?
Well, I've always believed in evolution. Societies should evolve. Revolutions have always failed. When you want to force a new way on people, twist people around 360 degrees to get them doing something in a given way, it tends to fail. But when you work with some of what they have, they know and relish, and then bring in some reforms, it tends to be better. So it goes slowly. So the change in Nigeria will not come overnight. No one man, iron-fisted man can come and change Nigeria overnight. If you do that, you will fail. But if we retain some of our institutions, do things our own way, and then bring in reforms. In the First Republic, for example, when we had the Azikiwes, the Obafemi Awolowos, Tafawa Balewas, Nigeria was a corrupt country.
Was a corrupt country?
Yes. For historical reasons, Nigeria will remain a corrupt country. So what we are trying to do in Nigeria is to manage corruption, not to eradicate it. We may not be able to eradicate it in the next 100 years, okay? So if you can, but in those days, corruption was like people's politicians stole maybe 5% of the funds. The incorrigibly corrupt politicians maybe stole 10%. Or Okotie Ebo, who was one of the most corrupt Nigerian politicians, was accused of stealing 10%. So 5 to 10%. Okay. So if you take 5 to 10%, you can still get the work done. The system can still function, but there's corruption. So a man that comes in and say, I have zero tolerance for corruption in Nigeria will fail. But if you labor to reduce it to what it is now, maybe 70%, whatever it is, and reduce it to 30%, you've done a job, you've evolved. And if people will uphold that standards, if there are institutions to keep that standard, it may get down slowly. Ghana is corrupt,
very well,
but not as corrupt as Nigeria.
South Africa is equally very corrupt, but not...
It is manageably corrupt. Because what we have in Nigeria these days is not corruption. I call it piratical depredation of a nation. You know, pirates are high sea robbers. And high sea robbers are worse than highway robbers. They are worse than. So depredation is the looting and tearing down. So when highway robbers loot and tear down, they are not as vehement, they are not as destructive as high sea robbers. So a country that a bunch of high sea robbers are looting and tearing down can only collapse at a point. But if the system is functioning, and then you have corruption here and there, and corruption is considered an aberration, an abnormality, not normality, then we have hope. And if a man like Peter Obi comes into power, I think he will reduce corruption, because it's all about personal example. Obi is not corrupt. He's one of the governors that had no case with EFCC. EFCC didn't say, Oga, come, let's look at you, come for an interview. Okay, and he's very stingy with his money. We call it stinginess, but actually it's prudence, is financial, discipline. Okay, but that's what we call stingy. So it will make a difference, but not a dramatic, not a revolutionary kind of difference. And a revolution, even an attempt at a revolutionary difference will not help the system.
Very, very true. Now let's possibly go down a memory lane for a bit. The Second Republic, Umaru Diko, then Minister of Labor, Transport, yes. You know, he sparked something that still is still blooming to some people who might know that, when he was speaking to a press, and he said that people said that Nigeria at the time is poor when they can't see children eating from the dustbin. And that raised, you know, lots of things. And today in Nigeria, it's a worst case scenario.
Of course.
Worst case scenario. President Tinubu further has exacerbated the problem. Just yesterday, we had the renaming of a hospital in Kaduna after him. We have the renaming of the ICC after him. The Niger State Airport is renamed after him. There's a barracks in Abuja that's renamed after him. We're not talking about Lagos. Literally every local government, there's a street in every local government that has Bola Tinubu as a name, right? So the question is, where do you think this man is getting it wrong? How is it difficult for him not to understand that all of these things you see happening, and the desire of Nigerians seeing him get out of that place, get out of the office, is a red flag? Why is it difficult for him to
I call it arrogance of power. And most power is hypnotic. Most people in power don't even know what they are doing. I had a friend who was at Abuja. He had a very powerful post in Abuja. And he told me that when he's in Abuja, it's like he's lost. He's giddy. It's like his head is spinning. His head is in the cloud. That is only when he returns to Enugu out of work. That's when, is that what I did? That's when reality sets in on him. So Tinubu, like most people in power, maybe he's suffering from some kind of vertigo, power-induced vertigo. He doesn't know what he's doing. That is why the Greek philosopher Confessus told his disciple to always criticize a leader, criticize him relentlessly. And reasonable leaders know that criticisms help them a lot. Because when you are in power, you have so much coming your way. You have temptation, you have sycophants, you have flatterers. They don't allow you to see reality. And then the sirens of life. If you're a man that likes women, the women will flood you. If a man that likes money, money will come. So you lose your sense. But criticisms can get you to realize that although I am this powerful, I am not in any way better than that man, that dreg, hungry, poor, homeless, sleeping under the bridge. I'm just like him. It's just the, call it grace of God, call it providence, call it whatever you want, thrusted me to this height. Okay. So a man like David went sleeping with Bathsheba, not because he was a bad man, not because he lusted after the wife of his neighbor, but because he had the means to appropriate the object of his temptation. Whatever was tempting, he could take it. I can go lusting after my neighbor's wife, covetous, and a seductive bomb.
Anatomy.
But I cannot appropriate it. And because I didn't appropriate, doesn't make me a better man. It's just I'm powerless. So when you have power, you do literally everything you want. And until you have people around reminding you of your limitations, that's why opposition is very important. If you look in the mirror and see dirt, Americans call it dirt, but it's dirt on your face, you do not break the mirror. You clean your face.
Well.
Okay? The mirror has done you a favor to reveal to you what you would not have ordinarily known. That's what the opposition does to those in power. But a crazy man will break the mirror. This mirror is wicked. This mirror is irresponsible. This mirror is disrespectful, for telling him something that is on your face. So only the lunatics fight the opposition. You disrespected me. You told me this, but they are telling you the truth. So it's not about people speaking up. It's not about in the opposition doing their work. That's why when people like Tinubu, not totally snap out of the arrogance of power, but do something in moderation. Behave like responsible human beings. Behave like a man that have been entrusted with the responsibility to determine the political and economic future of more than 200 million Nigerians.
But at what point would it get to? We're both family people with wives and children, and the question is, why is it even so difficult that internally the people from the same home cannot address some of these things? The wife of the president, I would love to believe she had been with the National Assembly, and we saw all that she did. Okay, how loud she was, how not respectful she was. She talked down on her colleagues. The son also is all around town, you know, speaking to the fact that the father is the best thing that ever happened to Nigeria. Now, when we have such a toxic, influenced family, how bad is the situation? How really bad is the situation?
Bad family, that's what you call it.
Yes, exactly.
There's so much poverty in the system. There was a Nigerian preacher that came to the U.S. Then I lived in the U.S. and he was talking about talking the way Nigerian pastors normally talk. Give me 10,000. God will bless you. I dashed somebody my Jeep. By the time I was getting home, I had 3 Jeeps waiting for me. I built a house because I was paying my tithe and all that nonsense.
Yes.
A black American woman got angry and stood up and said, Mr. Man, where did you see all this in the Bible? This you all talk about money, 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 cars, 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 houses, houses. Where is it in the Bible? This very well-respected man of God in Nigeria was taken aback. Nobody ever confronted him. The society is docile. The society cannot speak out. The average Nigerian is afraid of the system. There's a writer that wrote, the root of bondage is poverty, and the root of poverty is ignorance. And another writer wrote, to mix the politics of democracy with the economics of poverty is a dangerous experiment. So we are in a place where we are supposed to speak. Democracy, I have the right to speak. But the man is broke. He has not eaten. He's afraid of the police. The police can brutalize him and he cannot seek redress. His landlord can kick him out because he doesn't know the law. And even if he knows the law, he doesn't have the money to get lawyers. So he's afraid. Do I don't want them wahala? You're afraid of the landlady, you're afraid of the judge, you're afraid of the police, you're afraid of the soldier, you're afraid of your pastor, afraid of everybody. You're literally a slave. Fella said it, he go be slave for him own land. So call it weaponization of poverty, call it ignorance, call it whatever, but the average Nigerian is weighed down and cannot speak. When people start speaking, start knowing their rights, start standing up for what is right, the abuse of power by any family in power will be reduced. But when there's no such things happening, people throw about their weight expecting that nothing will happen, and in the end nothing happens. When it's time for election, the Tinubu political machinery will set out giving people rice, giving people money, and the same people that have complained for 4 years will still vote for him. Okay, so the same people that have been weighed down by the injustice in the system. Oh, this new party say that their motto or their logo is motto.
Justice for all.
Do you believe that? There's no justice for all. There can be no justice for all in Nigeria. So that's where the problem is. People are cowardly. I was at the same filling station I told you about. The policeman assigned at this filling station was harassing a young lady. And at a point she said, I will arrest you.
Really?
And I asked the policeman, arrest her, what is her offense? All the people there who came to buy fuel want quick service, make the service. I said, Organ, are you the cause trouble here? Which kind of question be that? They just want to get their fuel and go. We don't want them wahala, okay? And the average car owner in Nigeria is middle class, higher middle class. But even in that level, people still can talk. People want to retain what they have. People want to get things done and withdraw in their share. So that's where the problem is. It will take enlightenment. The masses do not do anything unless they are directed strategically, unless they are led. That is why every movement in history is personified in one man or two men or three men. Biafranism, Ojukwu, Neo Biafranism, Nnamdi Kanu. And if you take them away, the movement collapses.
Very well.
Because the people follow. So until we start having leaders that are yet to be co-opted, that will start speaking out against the system and engage the masses, energize the masses, channel their effort in challenging the injustice in the system, it will remain.
Very, very true. So the truth of the matter is, either people talk or not, nature will definitely take its course. Nature abhors a vacuum. That is the truth. Unfortunately, the leaders we have in Nigeria do not learn from history and don't even care what history, talks about. Because when someone repeats something that's been done before, he gets the same repercussion. The French Revolution happened to King Louis XVI because he failed to heed to advice. He felt that he was the Alpha and the Omega. He felt he was all and all. He felt that his wishes must be the wishes of the people. And that was what brought about the French Revolution. I truly do believe and desire that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would heed to this call, or else, most definitely, what happened to others will definitely happen to him. We are not the ones saying it. This is nature. It must take its course, whether we like it or not. Thank you so very much, Tochukwu Ezukama.
Oh, you're welcome.
Absolutely do appreciate you.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, it's really been a very wonderful discussion with you. I enjoyed talking to you, to be honest. I felt like the time we have is even quite small and we could go on and on, but of course I need to
on and on and on.
Yes.
If you get me champagne and good food, I'll be here on and on and on with you. Get me good drink and good food, I'll be here all day.
Thank you so very much, Tochukwu. Truly do appreciate you once more.
Thank you very
All right,
much.
people, that's just about the time we have. I would love to believe you enjoyed our show just like we did here. Please do well to visit us if you may. You can read up on everything we've talked about today when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally rewatch everything we've done here when you equally see us at Enterprise TV 7. I am Henry Igwebike. Thank you for watching. We'll see you. Bye-bye.